Okay guys, so now let's understand about the load management tab guys. Okay, so this option is mostly be used by the developers, so mostly it will be used by the developers, not by the users, because this backend code anyway user cannot see, but this is the main one we will do as a developers. So to manually flush the data page from the clipboard, let's say if you want to flush it from the clipboard, some 5 records got loaded, you kept it as node level scope. When you keep the node level scope means whatever the records are present until that server is turned off and until the server changed, right, the data will be retained in the backend clipboard table, right. If you want to flush it forcefully, if you want to like again to retrieve the new information, you have to keep it this flush data page. Flushing means again the existing records, all whatever the data it is holding, right, it will be refreshed. So whatever the new data is present, right, that will be taken. So this is the way we can use this load management clear data page tab. So we can refer this below functionality, right. So this clear data page one, so mostly we can do dynamically by using activity and data transform also, and or else we can come to the data page, we can do in this one. I will show you like in the activity data transform how to flush this one. Okay, by passing some parameters we can do this. And another one is like load authorization. So you can see one load authorization, but the option is not available. This will be available when you keep the scope as node level. When you keep your scope as node level, if you go to load management tab, you can see load authorization. This will be applicable only for the node level. So why it is only applicable for the node level? And this is expecting one access group. Access group is nothing but your application, right, whatever the application right now you are using. So this is not applicable for the thread and requester levels. And this is because of the, if you want to load it, right, so load authorization in the sense, for thread and requester anyway they will log in and they will log off, right. So these application context may change and they can be taken from the application context, but node level data page is outside one, it is coming from the server, right. So requester context whatever it is present, so if you want to maintain your application context here, right, so this whenever you are trying to load the data, when the scope is node, right, so it is going to be refreshed based on your access group. So mostly you have to keep your application when you are going with the node level data scope. You may see in your real-time applications as well, when they keep the node level, right, they will definitely maintain this access group, and this is mandatory as well. You have to provide your application level access group to here. Then the server will understand which one to refresh, which one to reload the data. Next one is refresh strategy. So these are the things guys, so you are loading the data, right, here this entire definition tab is going to load the data, fetch the data. Load management tab means how you are going to balance the data, how you are going to load refreshing data, how you are going to manage the data, when it has to be refreshed automatically, some kind of conditions we are going to give. Normally when you keep it thread level scope means what will happen, thread level means whenever you create a new scope, new thread, only it is going to refresh. If it is requester, once you log off and log in, only it is going to refresh the data. Node means until the server changes, the data is not going to change. But if you want to do it in the middle, if you want to flush anytime, if you want to change the data at any time, means this load management tab will be used. So this will make the developers can use of this one to flush the data at any time, even if it is in node, if it is requester, or if it is thread also. So here we should understand few things, because this is also helpful to you to refresh, when to refresh, and what time we can do, and some of the options are very useful to change at any time. Let me take the requester type. Mostly at the requester type only will make this kind of uses. And you can see few of the visibility conditions based on your scopes. This is updating in the backend in the load management tab. So let's understand reload once per interaction. By the name itself you can understand it. This, if you want to reload the data page, each of the interaction, whenever, even if you keep it thread also, even if you keep it requester also, let's keep the thread level. Once you keep the thread level, you can see this reload, and once you keep the requester also, it is coming, but the node level it may not come. Reload once per interaction, because when you keep it in the node level means only your not data is not going to be refreshed most of the time, right. So that is the reason it is not showing. It will be applicable only for thread and requester. This is also one of the interview questions. Okay, so when the reload once per interaction may disable, may enable. And here Reload once per interaction means even you can see here only refresh the page during the first use per interaction. Each of the interactions, if you want to fetch the data from the table, like how report definition fetching, each of the interaction, whenever you touch, whenever you run that, it is going to fetch from the table, right? If you want to behave this data page in that way, you have to select this one, reload once per interaction. Once you select this one, other options are you are not allowed to use it, because it is going to refresh every time it has to be reloaded, every time data page will run whenever user is interacting with the specific UI. So this is the one we can use for the, but this will cause some kind of huge performance issues, okay? But be careful while checking this one, you need to consult your lead and you need to take the suggestion, because of this one clipboard performance will, it will depend like huge performance issues, because every time it will reload for each interaction, right? So if the data page is going to be used in multiple places, so it will create some kind of, each interaction loading means some loading issues will come. So that is the reason, and we have to take the suggestion while clicking on this one. And this will be useful only for the thread and requester. But once you select this one, right, system ignores any values in the reload if older than or reload if older when condition. So it will ignore these two things. Okay, it will turn on means it will, if you are not allowed to use these two things. I will explain you what is these things, okay? And I can give an example when should I go with this reload once per interaction. Let's say the ideal example is like in your real time you may see your seat availability. Let's say you are planning to book something, like you are planning to book bus tickets, let's say, or train tickets. Let's say Sahil is booking one bus ticket in 1 month, that she is trying to book 31 and 32. At the same time Akshay is also trying to book. At the same time, Abol is also trying to in the same bus. So when Akshay is going to log in and selected 31 and 32, he didn't pay anything, but just he selected. Do you think, what do you say? Aboli also can see the seats or it will be blocked once he selected. At the same time, Aboli is trying to open the same application and opening the same bus. Will it be blocked?
Yes,
It will
I
be
guess.
blocked, right?
Hmm.
Even you are trying to book movie tickets or you are trying to book train tickets, bus tickets, whatever it is there, every time the transaction is going to be unique, like every time it is going to get the updated information how it is happening. Even if you want to use the data page, because you should not allow to use report definition, because every time the code may run, right? So if you want to load it by using data page, and each transaction, if you want to hold the updated data, so in those kind of teams you can go with this reload once per interaction. Once you click on this one, right, once you check this while creating the code, right, for your application, whether it is bugs or it is a movie ticket booking application, book my show or something, only updated information every transaction, first transaction happened, first interaction happened with Akshay, so for others they cannot update the same seats. When Aboli started, again it got blocked. When Sahil started, it is going to block for the other interaction. So like that, when you choose the seats means those updated data is going to be locked. Like this kind of option may use. Okay, and so for node option we cannot use this one. And let me show you what is the other one. So do not reload when. We can also control the refresh strategy by using this when rule. When rules we haven't discussed as of now. In the next class I'm going to show. So when rule is the conditional based one. If you have some given some kind of conditions, right, so based on that this is going to be active, that based on the condition, if it is going to success, if it is going to satisfy or not, based on the satisfaction of the condition only you are going to refresh it. So this I will come to this point again later. And reload a folder, then you can even refresh the data. Let's say I'm keeping this as node level and I'm going to load management tab. Here you can see reload a folder, then means now usually what will happen if you keep the node level data page, you are not allowed to refresh the data until that server is on, right? You cannot, until you are avoiding, you are not into the same node only, the data page is going to be reloaded, right? But you can maintain some kind of days, hours, minutes, seconds. Let's say I want to keep my data for 30 days. After 30 days I want to load the data again. There are some kind of business scenarios will be there. After 15 days, every 15 days I want to fetch the data from the database. Every 20 days I want to get the data, or else every first day of the month I want to fetch the data. Until that time, that entire month is going to maintain the same data. Understanding? Let's say if you observe the stocks after 6 o'clock and morning before 9:30, data is not going to be refreshed. Only between the time of 9:30 to evening 3:30 or 4:30, that time only the stocks related information will be updated in the any kind of applications. So here what is happening, you are reloading only on specific timings, right? In that kind of time you can use this one. This will be taken by using days, months, hours and seconds. So the cache memory, that every time refresh data page will be loaded on this one until that time that the records are going to be stale. Means the refresh data is going to be stale. Okay. So this reload, let me take this example. I want to give one more example on this one. Do not reload when you can use it, like when you are condition when you are testing one condition, right? So the condition is going to be, it can be stale or it can give some results like true false, right? In that case we can go, and mostly this is going to be useful for the stocks. This I can say for the stocks level, because based on the trading hours, if you want to avoid, right, like if you want to prevent unnecessary refreshing, unnecessary data efficient sound, all the things are there, right? So post of the trading hours you can keep one when condition. In that when condition you can maintain like what are the timings of the stocks from 9:30 to 3:30 if you keep it, right? So until that time only this condition is going to be true. And if the condition is false, means after 6:30 the condition is going to be false, right? In that cases this is going to be false, so data is not going to be refreshed. Only this till the time of this condition is going to be true, right? At that time only the data is going to be refreshed and the data is going to give the updated information. Understanding? And this reload if folder, then you can mention the days and hours and minutes. So sometimes the orders, like some customers will give the orders, right? So those orders will change frequently. So if the updated data, updated orders, updated things, if you want to display based on the time, like whatever the new items are coming into the application, right? Let's say I want to show to the customers specific orders, specific things, but I want to maintain space time period. So every day by this time, or else every 15 days I want to load the new updated items into my application. So in that case you can load this by giving time and days. This also we use based on the business functionalities. In some other business functionality we may use this one, like a bus application, some kind of updated information, theater booking. So these kind of things you can go with these other applications. And another one is like page options, clear the pages after non-use. It should be selected because this is, you don't need to remove from the thread level data scope, but when it is requested, your data page will be retained, your data page will stay in the clipboard continuously, right? But once you are not using, you have to remove from the clipboard, unnecessarily maintaining in the clipboard level, right? If you select this checkbox, the data page will be cleared from the database, I mean cleared from the clipboard. Unnecessarily most of the data pages you don't need to store in the clipboard level, so in that case you can remove after the user non-use. Okay, this is how the database options are present, and based on the business functionality we'll use, I will give some examples of each of this one. And you just need to know first of the things like how to use this, what is the importance of these things. So then only you can easily understand how to utilize the data page, because 90% you will use data page only in every of the drop down. And I will show you this respond data transform in the data transform while explaining the data transform, and post or processing also I will explain you in activity and data transform. And also we'll see these parameters in the next class. And what is this parameters, how to pass the parameter, it's not completed yet. Okay, so this is how, this is what about the data page, guys. Okay, and let's come to this key data pages. Just I want to give one little brief about it. Okay, so keyed will see it separate topic. I'm planning to give one similar one example, because this is mostly asking interview questions, so I want to take a separate class for this. But this is the one which you can use. By using key you can easily fetch the data from the table rather than depending and running every time data page. We can map this one with a defined key on the property level. We can get easily data rather than fetching and hitting the database multiple times. This is also very helpful. I will take a separate session for this.